Yeah. So, oh,
So I'm curious then, because meal prep and meal prepping
mhm,
in busy schedules and some people have children, some people have jobs, some people are working multiple jobs. So how
right.
did meal prepping for this holiday? What did you find advantageous?
Um, I I just because I work full time and I work long hours, I've been prepping for multiple days at a time all week anyways. So this time, all I did was look at all through Monday everything I was going to need, and I did not prepare the food, but I cut up items, put it in bags, and that way I can just grab it. We did not buy our salmon and things until we got up here, but we were a little worried about not finding them, but we did find a Walmart, so I got the best I could do. But yeah, it was very easy. I like prepping. I don't like to prep for more than just a couple days in advance because I don't like the taste of food too
I'm in
far in advance.
I'm in the same boat. I mean, unless I can freeze it and it comes out
Right.
exactly as I prepared it. I'm in the same boat. I really only meal prep for maybe a couple of days worth ahead of time.
That's how I do. Certain things can do different. Like I can roast the vegetables for the week and eat them for 3 or 4 days, but chicken, no. I gotta cook it fresh. So every night this week, I've been preparing my meals, or every other night. So I did good. I was proud of myself. It was a
Oh,
successful week.
good.
So
Well,
it was really, really good.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah, I love when people feel that sense of inner commitment
Mhm.
and
It's
devotion.
different. Yep. When you travel, I know me, I'm a munchy person when I travel. So I usually have something with me. So I didn't have anything in the car. So it was a different experience to travel and be careful. I had my to-go shake ready and
How
everything.
has the
It was
first week
good.
been going for you, Cindy?
The first week went wonderful. I enjoyed everything I ate, everything, even if it was completely new, I tried, even though I was like, "Oh, no." But I enjoyed everything. Um, Even at work, I didn't have any issues, with when you're in an office with 45 people, you have a lot of food sitting around. People just don't understand, "Stop bringing donuts to work." But I didn't have any
Our
issues, nothing.
office
We work in the weight management
weight
clinic, and
management clinic. We're like,
Yeah.
where's the veggie trays? Where's the hummus?
stop
Where's the
bringing
fresh
chips in.
fruit?
Yeah.
Stop bringing junk food into our office. Like,
Yeah,
because those things are really tempting, right? They do
they
taste
are. They're
good.
hard,
They are.
especially when you have a stressful job and you're in a stressful situation, which I had several this week. My first thing would have been to grab my goldfish out of my drawer. So I
Mhm.
had already cleaned all that out. I didn't have any snacks there. So it was great. I did over in my water. I did about 80 ounces every day. So I was really proud of myself. I had already been working on that. So yeah, everything went really good. It was a successful week. I had one evening that I was very hungry after dinner. So that's a problem. So I have to work on maybe a little bit of things in the evenings.
Yeah. Um,
Well,
what was I
if you're
thinking?
very hungry in the evening, it's okay to have a snack.
Okay. I went back and ate chicken. It was the night that I had the chicken cauliflower. So I went back and got more chicken.
Yeah, have some chicken, have a yogurt, have something. If you're feeling really hungry, then you don't need to torture yourself with that.
Right. But that was the only evening. Other than that, everything went good. So yay. It was nice.
I'm just
So
curious if that evening was one of those more stressful days or not.
yeah, it was. It was a very so I rush home, you know, I prepare everything real quick. I eat. I was satisfied when I ate. So I wasn't stuffed. I wasn't hungry anymore. But then as soon as a little bit later, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours later, I had walked, I had water, but I was hungry. I mean, I really was hungry, but it could have been.
And that's
So that,
great. That's normal. Every day is different. So some days maybe
yes.
your body just burned through things a lot quicker.
Hmm. Yep. So it was a successful week so far. So I'm excited.
Yay.
Yep.
Yay.
Well, hello.
I know. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi. I just ran in from the pouring rain, so,
You still look ravishing.
oh gosh, thank you.
I just love your glasses. I think you look so fabulous in those.
Oh,
those
thanks.
cool frames.
Thanks.
So we're just reflecting on the week, and meal prepping has came up. Cindy meal prepped for a week away from home. And I know that was, I know that is something that you've shared with us. We're gonna open it up to you now. And again, heart open, there's no right or wrong answer. We wanna know how you're doing.
I did really well for the first 3 days. And I didn't meal prep. I wasn't sure. I mean, when I looked at it, I thought, can I do this and keep the whole week full of food in the fridge and fresh? Because they're individual servings and a lot of it you can't freeze. And so that was a question I had. And then I got a little bit frustrated because I was eating so much of the chicken and it just doesn't work well for me. I can eat a little bit, but and then I started putting in some beans instead, and then the flavor profile changed because your recipes are delicious. And then when I changed the flavor profile, it's just, so yeah, I've not been great. I mean, I just have to say I have not been great. And also it's my first full week back in I have a private practice and then I have a full-time job. And like today, I was on my way to a destination and got a call that there was an emergency elsewhere. So I'm elsewhere right now. And I just ran out to the car to get my good food. It just, I have to be way more organized.
Yeah.
Well, how about we tackle the chicken first?
Okay, let's tackle chicken.
I have such an amazing hack for this, actually.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you've ever tried this before, but if you freeze tofu,
Okay.
it will create the texture of chicken.
I have 3 blocks in the freezer as we speak.
Yes. You freeze them, you pull them out, and then you can season them kind of however you see fit, maybe with a little poultry seasoning. So it feels like chicken. And then just pop that right in where the chicken was.
So not cook it or anything?
I would cook it. You can pan sear it, you can bake it. But yeah, it just gives it that amazing kind of chicken type texture to it, a little chewier. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cut them up into chicken strips.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say tempeh, which is also a fermented food.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this kind of like extra bonus, but tempeh has a stronger flavor, right? Like, so it kind of, it may not work for all the flavor profiles and all the meals, right? You might not feel as culinarily satisfied. But tempeh is kind of fun because you can marinate it as well.
Yeah.
So anything that is kind of Asian inspired, like I think we have like a salmon and cabbage dish. Yes, there's dill. Dill isn't necessarily resonant with me with Asian food, but you can even swap out dill for, I don't know, Thai basil or something more Asian inspired.
And there's all those, and I can think of Primal Kitchen, and then it's like George something, and there are these lines of sugar-free sauces and marinades. And so I want to say
sometimes, in Canada, we just don't get the same stuff. Like I have missed Trader Joe's in Bellingham like crazy. We just don't have the same stuff.
Might be able to get it on Amazon if you really need something.
Yeah. Okay.
I am feeling inspired though to create a list of like sauce and marinade kind of recipes for our membership and program participants, because just reflecting on meal prep. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm single mom, working full time. I'm not technically a single mom. I am
I
married.
tell Mike that.
Uh,
I'm a single mom.
but well, that's
Oh,
how
goodness.
I'm identifying as a single mom right now. My husband's a winemaker. So
Oh,
full on harvest. I mean, I barely see him once a week. He comes up for air. They're processing just tons of grapes till midnight, waking, he's living at the winery. And so yeah, I can just, I don't know. I got so used to it. My husband cooks for me a lot. And he's
Oh.
wonderful. And so now I'm doing all of it and with my daughter, but there's been a kind of a effortless feeling that comes over you when you do get the rhythm and the flow of that organization.
yeah.
And having a little Tupperware container of beans kind of ready to go, having a Tupperware container of a whole grain kind of ready to go. And it might only last me 3 or 4 days, because I agree with you, Cindy. If it sits in the fridge any longer than that, it starts to get kind of
Yeah,
gross. And I don't want to eat
correct.
food. But at least you can kind of jumpstart the week pretty well prepared. Hopefully that takes the stress out of those few days. And then maybe Wednesday or Thursday, you have a little more capacity to make another day or two worth of food. It's all trial and error. And I just appreciate your honesty here, Jacqueline. You're doing a lot. Okay. So I applaud you for, busy private practice and being full-time employed, plus
Right.
being in the counseling psychology kind of business. Your heartstrings are just pulled in so many different
Oh,
directions all
yes.
the time.
Yeah, no, I can, right now I'm trying to come down from an emergency situation that we had early this morning. So it's not that, I don't think my world is any more stressful than everybody, it's all relative, everybody is stressed. So, yeah.
So since you're asking for that, should we take a little moment and try to ground down together? You're on
Okay.
vacation, Cindy. You're probably existing
I
in this mode. Yeah, I had acupuncture this morning, so I'm also kind of in this mode. But and this is some of the stuff from Irene Lyon's work, but eyes open, take a moment to connect with how your feet are touching the ground below you.
Take my shoes off.
There you go.
That's good.
The other thing that I think is really important as you're trying to just hold awareness to how your body is taking up space is the opportunity to move, pee, fart, burp, get up, and just take care of yourself, whatever you actually need. There's no rules here, but all we're doing in this moment is just really holding awareness to what our feet are touching. And so as we really connect to this feeling of our feet, we should also be mindful of, are we breathing?
Uh-oh.
And notifications are part of our chaos.
Yeah.
Being on vacation.
Mhm.
And then as we're holding awareness to our feet, as we're holding awareness to our ability to breathe, breathing beings, choose something in your space to look at and name. And you can say it out loud. I'm looking at a plant, a green plant. It's right in front of me. But now you're going to focus on this one thing in the room with your eyes. And you're going to hold awareness to the ease or dis-ease of your breath. And hold awareness to your feet at the same time. This very, very simple practice is called orienting. And when we get taken out of our bodies by work by thoughts that tell us we aren't good enough, perfectionism, right? So this is better than those goldfish crackers in the desk. And it is very nourishing to us. And I find it very relatable, our human desire to reach for a snack, to feel connected to this sense of calm and this sense of presence, because to eat is to be very embodied, you know, but sometimes we eat without being connected to our bodies. And then that's where we get digestive issues. So anyway, Jacqueline, that was very brief. We want to talk about meal planning and all these beautiful things, and how we can help you be more successful going into the next phase. Do you have by chance the meal plan for next week on your phone? I can pull it up on my computer. But I was thinking we could just kind of talk about how brainstorm different ways to sort of help you meal prep for that week.
Okay.
In different.
I was just wondering, do you squeeze your tofu? Like, do you have a tofu press? Or
Yeah.
do you? Yes. Okay.
I squeeze it in a tofu press, and then I'll also wrap it in like a towel or some paper towels and get all the excess moisture out. I think that makes a big difference in the texture.
And would it be okay to like cornstarch it before I pan fry it?
Yes, yeah, cornstarch it. That makes it
So crispy
every time. Yeah,
Yeah.
secret.
I admit to being a bit of with this whole bariatric journey, becoming, well, not that I wasn't afraid of food before, but now I think I'm even more afraid of food. So should I add cornstarch? Will that like sabotage me entirely?
And I don't think cornstarch, especially eating with tofu, a thin layer of crispiness around it, it's not like it's going to cause dumping or anything like that either.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a thin layer, and it really is a I mean, it's a culinary practice. It makes food much more palatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
y'all do that with the entire tofu block? I've never eaten it before, so this will be my first taste
Great.
with tofu.
go ahead. I'm not an expert. Well, I cut it into squares and
Mhm.
then coat it in whatever flavors and cornstarch and pan fry it. But I have heard that if anybody has an air fryer, it's even better that way.
Oh,
I've heard that too. I don't have an air fryer, but
I don't have
heard
an air
that.
fryer either. There's too many kitchen gadgets.
Yeah, I know. But apparently it gets all very crispy and puffy on the inside, but crispy on the outside when you use an air fryer. So that's what I've heard.
I
Well,
don't have-
yeah, I mean, experiment with the cornstarch, right? Sit with it, see how you feel. If it causes any distress, then you can sort of reconsider your air fryer as your next splurge. Do you guys have pressure cookers
Yes, I do.
or instant
I
pot?
don't.
I have one.
Yeah, I love that for cooking grains, lentils, and beans.
Mm.
Oftentimes the canned stuff, it's great to use that, sort of out of convenience and whatnot, but I only knew canned stuff prior to getting the pressure cooker. And wow, when you get raw beans, you soak them for 24 hours, you put them in the pressure cooker, it's like night and day the difference. Way less gas too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty interesting how it just really kind of facilitates the digestion. And that's sometimes, in the realm of kind of nutrition and dietitian and counseling and stuff, when people report overt crazy GI symptoms from eating those foods. Now, after my own experience with a pressure cooker, I just think that they weren't canned, isn't prepared adequately. They're really
Interesting.
traditional food preparation with those things. The skins on them are very protective, and so you have to kind of cook them right. Okay, so any other questions or comments before we kind of look at next week?
I am wondering about things like flank steak and how to swap that out for a vegetarian option. I mean, I guess with ground beef, I can use you know what I'm talking about?
Little stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but I'm not sure about.
Tempeh would be a good substitute for flank steak.
I mean, she could definitely try it. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, is that the first week's meal plan that has the flank steak?
I think it's the
Yeah.
second, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was on one. No, maybe it wasn't this week. Yes, it was with the Thai basil beef stir fry that I used flank steak.
Okay, on week 1, Thai basil. That would be perfect, I think,
Yeah,
for tempeh.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that would. Sometimes I like marinating the tofu or the tempeh in soy sauce or tamari too.
Mhm.
You could do like tamari, ginger, lime.
That's what I was thinking, because that's almost how you marinate flank steak, like traditionally.
Mhm,
And I think the tempeh would just absorb it.
mhm.
Okay.
Um,
Would you recommend, I mean, I'm sort of, well, yeah, I'm thinking of doing a repeat of week 1, just because that's where my
for
brain
it.
is.
Go
Okay.
for it. So, I mean, and then intentionally, we gave you 4 weeks of meal plans with breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks with hardly any repeats. Knowing that you could just get practice trying different things. And then the last 2 weeks, again, we're going to kind of show up like this. How do we help you meal plan, help you organize, select different things that you really like, and then, what else do you want to see more of? Because we love the kitchen.
Yeah,
We love the kitchen. We love food. Food is good.
It is
well, your recipes are really good.
No, I'm so glad you guys think that. But you do just fine, Jacqueline, right? With dairy. You're okay with dairy products.
Okay with dairy.
Oh, you say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry.
I do like the convenience, and I will say that I am using Premier Protein as the protein shake in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it's not your preferred.
Oh, it's okay. It's totally okay. What's important is definitely, and so only week 1 really has the protein shake. And then as you go to week 2, week 3, and again, for somebody like you, Jacqueline, depending on how rushed you feel in the morning and kind of what's going on, is the protein shake the best thing for you, or is sitting down and making a meal more time conducive? I think
Yeah, this is my 7 a.m. coffee with Premier Protein that I still haven't finished. It's because,
yeah. So I'm looking here at week 1. Looks like we have a ham and Swiss omelet with Lebna. So Lebna is it's called kefir cheese. But it is just a fermented, almost like a Greek yogurt. So you could substitute Greek yogurt for that. And again, some Greek yogurts are like 15 grams of protein in just a few, like 4 ounces or something. Some of them are 20 grams of protein. So again, choose the best one that kind of resonates with you. In America, I love Faye. Faye makes a good
yeah, that's really good. We don't have it.
Okay. Do you guys get Nancy's up there?
We do
I
get
like
Nancy's, but I'm wondering if I can use Skyr, the SKYR. I love that stuff.
Yeah. So, and I would agree. I think those 3 brands make a really creamy, traditionally kind of fermented, good cultures kind of added into it. Lebna is something that I buy from our, they kind of just call it Middle Eastern little bazaar restaurant. They kind of have like a little store there down the street. And it's similar, but a little bit different. So, anyway, if you can find that, definitely experiment with it. It makes a good little condiment to some things. Ham, though, I'm curious, you could add black beans or any kind of bean to your omelet. Just so you get a little bit of protein. And then I think we sent you portion sizes too, like probably about 1/4 cup.
Yeah.
I think maybe half a cup. I don't know, somewhere in there. The cottage cheese breakfast bowl. This was a hit in our last cohort. You guys been liking it?
We haven't tried that yet.
Okay.
It hasn't come up to.
So the image shows cucumbers and then like a hard or soft boiled egg.
Right.
Do you guys like soft boiled eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of usually do like inch or so of water and then the egg, set a timer for 8 minutes, boil it, and then and then the yolk's a little creamy. I like it too. And then adding a fermented kraut on top. Again, just give it a shot. And then sometimes, if you're curious how much kraut to add, as much as you want or as little as you want.
I surprised myself. I like it.
It's
Yeah, I do too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's good. Again, as a condiment, it really combines with a lot of flavors really well.
On the cottage cheese, do you think one brand is better? Is there something I should look for when I like all cottage cheese really, but I didn't know. What is your opinion on the different?
So there's definitely some brands that don't add any cultures to them. So you want to look for words like cultured cottage cheese. So
Okay.
for example, Dairy Gold, just throwing out a brand, tastes dramatically different than Nancy's cottage cheese.
Mhm.
Well, we don't have Nancy. We have Nancy's yogurt, but not cottage cheese.
Yeah. So so generally it's going to be the more expensive one. And it's if you look at the ingredients, it's going to list probiotic species added to it.
Okay.
So, and again, we all live in different nooks and crannies around the world or Northwest. You're not in the Northwest, you're back east, but yeah, so check that out. They'll list lactobacillus, bacillus strains. You definitely want something that has cultures in it.
Okay.
That's kind of the secret sauce here is eating a lot of probiotic foods.
I'm shocked. I did look at a lot of different items, so that was very interesting. I was picking up and reading everything.
Yeah.
So looking for that.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It's funny. Jacqueline talked about changing and things you've been thinking about, worried about all these years. My head game is the carbs and the fats
Yeah.
that I'm looking at stuff going, oh, wait a minute, because I, for so many years, have told myself, you can't have carbs, you can't have carbs, even though I cheat sometimes.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to not pay as much attention to that and look at probiotic, prebiotic stuff. I'm looking at things differently is what I'm trying to change.
Well, and I appreciate that.
Well, and it's a nice switch too, because it can be really draining to always think about what you can't have. I can't have this. I was worried I can't have this, instead of thinking about what can I have, what should I be eating, what should I eat more of. It's a positive mind switch to have.
A good way to put it. Yeah.
I'm the same way about carbs and fat, and actually was told by the bariatric nutritionists that I can't do vegetarianism because there's too many carbs. So my brain goes to, oh no, I can't. What can I do? So
Well, and carbs, I've always thought that was really oversimplistic when they talk about that, because it's not that you can't eat carbs after bariatric surgery, it's that you can't eat certain carbs because they don't digest well in your body. But there's this whole category of carbs you can eat. There's just some that make you feel not very good.
yeah. Well, I know. I think I don't know. I think there's this whole leftover thing about just no carbs, right? No carbs.
Yep, me too. It's in my head.
Yeah.
Atkins was pretty powerful, and 15 years later, keto swept through, and it's the exact same thing.
Well, we're almost 30 years later.
30 years later.
It was the 90s.
90s. Okay. Oh yeah.
Right?
Gosh. It's been a long time.
Everything's keto now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it went Atkins, South Beach, Protein Power. Yeah. And I think a lot of these dietary beliefs are really kind of the pathology of, I don't know, Western kind of, I don't know, we were joking around with one of our last cohort clients about bro science.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, literally all of those campaigns are really kind of forged ahead and made incredibly popular by men. And
Being
that's,
rich.
yeah. It's yeah. So anyway, we're more intuitive, we're more abundant mindset here. We have a women's program for a reason. There's no bro science here.
Good.
So next week we also gave you a little treat on the menu, a little healthy treat. Chocolate peanut butter overnight chia.
I was reading that. That's going to be
Yeah,
interesting.
it is going to be interesting. Have you guys ever cooked with chia seeds before?
No,
Well, they're
Yeah.
kind of
never.
like, they sort of remind me of almost like tapioca a little bit.
Okay.
They're a bit gelatinous, right?
Gelatinous,
Mhm.
yes. And it's that gelatinous nature of them that gives them kind of that protective sort of gut connection, the way that people are drinking aloe juice.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
that
okay.
squishy kind of gelatin thing is beneficial to the gut lining. And the
I need that.
yeah, we all do. We all do. The other thing that's really fun about chia seeds is they have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3s are really helpful in a variety of health functions, specifically brain function and inflammation, very anti-inflammatory. But yeah, it's going to have almost like a pudding type texture to it. And, peanut butter. I think you guys know this by now, but, some peanut butters have added sugar to them.
Yep.
So, be mindful that you're not getting a sugary one. This recipe is sweetened with a little bit of, again, stevia. Another plant-based kind of sweetener is monk fruit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add about that?
I don't like them, because it's okay to have some sweetener once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have something sweet after bariatric surgery.
Yeah. I would say if you didn't have a gastric bypass, you might be able to tolerate a little bit of honey. I don't know, Jacqueline, with the gastric bypass. Cindy, did you have bypass or sleeve?
I had bypass.
You had
Yeah.
bypass, yeah. So
Well,
exactly. So I think you kind of have to commit to these artificial sweeteners, or else you will
Yeah.
dump. The body is pretty intense. This dumping phenomenon. You start absorbing the sugar the second you put it in the mouth, and you don't absorb anything else.
Yeah, I can tolerate honey,
You
actually.
Good. Well, you can use a little honey then.
I don't know. I'm an anomaly in the whole.
So if I were you then, Jacqueline, from a flavor profile perspective, honey is my favorite.
And maple syrup.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and a little goes a long way. It's not like you're,
No,
trying
yeah.
to get a ton in. It's not like we're making cookies where you put in like 2 cups of sugar.
Yeah.
This is a little tiny treat. So Cindy, experiment with that too.
Okay.
I do favor honey. Honey is a very complex sugar in a variety of ways, and Bonnie's a beekeeper.
Oh,
These are lovely. We love bees.
Yeah,
honey.
anytime
Nice.
you can get honey that's the natural honey from like a beekeeper, it actually is quite different from the honey in the stores because they're so filtered that the consistency is even different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then you lose all of the pollen and stuff that the bees have gathered and put into the honey. And
Okay. So Whole Foods would probably have.
Whole Foods would probably have
just
that.
stop by a farm stand if you're just driving by and you see one, just pull off and get some honey.
I wish.
Do you have any farmers markets where you guys are?
I do. I have a lot around here. Yeah, we do.
I do, except for now that it's, rainy season, they're going to be closing down.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in Portland today, but it is a deluge outside in Vancouver.
Oh, wow. We're blessed with more sunshine. It keeps saying we're going to rain and then the weather forecast changes. But our land is parched and needs some rain. We would welcome it warmly.
Yeah. I want to be where Cindy is, wherever that is.
Oh,
It
um,
looks so relaxing.
Yes, I ran away.
look for that kind of artisan beekeeper honey, though. I think that's going to give you guys the best kind of well-rounded microbiome experience. So, one of the connections here being that, again, the bees pollinate the flowers, which then make the honey. Same thing kind of is going here by us eating these fermented foods. These bacteria are actually making healing chemicals for our body, and they just kind of keep feeding itself. So we love the nuance here of this biological cycle. So next week there's chicken breakfast sausages with kraut and lebna. Again, lebna and kraut being a little condiment there. The chicken breakfast sausages, this might be another tofu substitution for you.
This could also be Morningstar sausage patties that you crumble up.
So I do worry, and this is me just being probably neurotic,
Yeah.
but I just worry about the fake meat being really chemical based and also high carb and high fat.
So the breakfast sausages, the Morningstar ones, they are actually one of the only low carb, like high protein ones you can get. Like Morningstar, any other product from them, I tell my patients to stay away from.
Okay.
Their breakfast sausages are, and they're actually quite good. So, but you're right. That is kind of the trouble you run into when you're looking at vegetarian sources like that.
Yeah. Do you ever use seitan, like homemade seitan?
Did you
I mean,
say?
it is. I was going to ask you about it because it's made with, lots of carbs.
Yeah. Here, let me refresh myself on the seitan nutrition.
I also realized that this recipe we didn't cut back. So it calls for a pound of ground chicken. So you're gonna have leftovers.
Yeah.
You could freeze them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's part of that sort of batch cooking idea. You could freeze them, you could easily pull them out, so yeah. So do that, or cook for your family, spouses, etc.
So I mean, 1 ounce of seitan has 21 grams of protein and only 4 carbs.
Oh, really? And that's homemade, right? I guess.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that looks fine.
Okay. Because I've had some really good seitan.
Excellent. This balsamic burger. Yeah. So then there's a like a ground beef patty. It's called the balsamic burger.
And you can
salad.
you can do things too, like find recipes where people take beans and quinoa and thing and they make their own vegetarian burgers out of them.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's not going to impact weight loss or.
I don't think so. I think, and again, keep in mind, I think the overall calorie goal too.
Mhm.
So as long as you're kind of within the confines of what a good portion would be so that you don't break that kind of, again, remember after bariatric surgery, we're kind of aiming for 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And so you want to do that while also listening to your body and feeding it appropriately so that you aren't overly hungry and overly tired and kind of, cheating because you didn't actually eat enough at the first meal.
Right.
So I think as long as you're kind of within that calorie ballpark, even if you're a little under on protein, you're going to be much higher on complex carbs, which equals fiber.
Yeah.
So you should still feel satisfied.
Yeah. Okay.
So I kind of use that as a goal. And again, if you feel like you're not satisfied, well, then you can always work in another 200 calorie protein shake split up through the day as a little snack.
You could also even, I mean, it sounds kind of strange, but take unflavored protein powder and mix it into the burger mix.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
I'm not able to do like the green tea in the middle of the morning just because it doesn't work with my schedule. But I do find I get really hungry in the middle of the morning.
Yeah. So that would be, again, another opportunity to, do you drink any warm liquids or do you drink lots of water though? Or are you feeling like?
I'm working myself up. I think I'm up to like 50 ounces a day.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, an apple always seems to kind of get me through when I'm really hungry, like at least another hour or two till I can sit down and eat lunch.
This
Yeah.
is so refreshing because every bariatric nutritionist I've spoken to is like, has engendered fear, not, it's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you can tolerate a little bit of honey, again, the idea here is to eat enough carbs and live in balance with what your body needs, not to swear them off, live in a neurotic state of they're terrible, and then cheat with goldfish crackers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like that's so.
That's me.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to pick on you again. It was just such a beautiful,
Okay, it's true.
and we're not always in control of what's brought around us, those workplace scenarios, whatever. We're going to have vulnerabilities. It's totally fine.
Mhm.
But just kind of lean into it as like, yep, I'm making this choice consciously right now. It's going to be okay.
I have a question about the protein shakes. I bought the Metagenics that you recommended, which that's what I've been drinking, but I picked up at the store the other day a to-go one for emergencies. It was called Iconic, ICONIC. Have you ever heard of that one?
Look it up.
I've not heard of it, but I'm on it.
So I drank that one morning and I stayed full longer. It was a big
Ah,
difference. So I don't know what's in this shake
well, look
that
at
is so different.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting to have something that I can keep in my desk drawer as an emergency. So that was my thought, that I would be able to drink if I needed to.
I know. So, I mean, I'm really good friends with some naturopaths, and there are definitely some plants, herbs, things like that that can act as kind of natural appetite suppressants. I
Mhm.
think cinnamon bark is one of them.
Oh, that's fine.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Does it tell you?
And I don't know if it was the fiber, because I did not add fiber to my shakes this week.
Is there fiber in this one?
Yeah.
It had 4 grams of fiber in it.
Yeah. So
This one has chicory root in it.
prebiotic
Yeah.
fiber. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you can add a little bit of that to any protein shake, and again, like around that, like kind of 3 to 4 grams is all you need.
What do you think of the taste of it? Did you like it?
Yes, it was very good. Yes, I had the vanilla bean.
That's a good
There
find.
is a coffee one.
Huh.
So I might try the coffee one next time, just keep it in my drawer.
There's so
as
many
a-
products out there. It's crazy. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
always looking stuff up.
What was it called, Cindy?
It's Iconic, ICONIC protein shake. And I like that it was portable and ready to go, and it's on Amazon, so I'll probably order it from Amazon and have them at the house. I was at I'd already been to Whole Foods and I went to Fresh Market. I don't know if that's a familiar market to any of you, but in our area it's another Whole Foods style store. And that's where I found it. So I grabbed that. And it was nice to have in my drawer. The morning I needed it, it was perfect. And it did keep me full longer. So interesting.
Well, yeah, you got to find what works for you. And if that one works
Yeah.
for you, then that's what you're going to do.
Hmm. But I like the idea of putting the protein. I did that years ago after I had gastric bypasses, putting the protein powder in different things. I forgot about that. So thanks for that reminder.
Mhm.
That's a good one. It
I
does
put
help.
I put it in my pancakes this morning.
Yeah.
Well, we have it in Canada. Yay.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, congratulations for keeping an eye open for a product that advertised prebiotic fiber plus
Mhm.
protein. Okay. Yay.
Well, I've been doing a lot of reading, so I've been
I
searching.
love
And
it.
I went to Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and this Fresh Market Sunday when I did my shopping last week. So I spent a lot of time searching for different things.
Love
So
it.
that was an interesting way to shop. It was
Love
a
it.
lot of new things for me.
Yeah. How are you guys going with food waste? Do you feel like you're wasting a lot, or do you feel like you're able to accurately buy with the menu we've created?
I,
It's
I,
good for me because I have a family, so it's not a
Yeah.
problem.
see, it's only me, so I
Mhm.
did feel like I was wasting food. Like for instance, I guess if I made my own, this would be different, but a can of chickpeas, for instance, it only took half of the can and I was buying the smallest I could find. And things like the crushed tomatoes, they're in my fridge now, but I don't know if I can use them before they go bad, things like that.
Those are things you can freeze.
Okay,
Chickpeas freeze quite well. I actually, so pressure cooker made like, I don't even know how many pounds of chickpeas, pressure cooked them. And then I just have a big freezer bag and I thaw it out, scoop out what I need, make hummus, make whatever, and then I'll put it back in
okay.
the freezer. So crushed tomatoes, chickpeas, I mean, those are all freezable things that I would think you could even just, reuse again later.
The other thing you could do is depending on, how you like to eat throughout the week, you could just double the recipe and eat the same thing 2 days in a row. That way you're not having food waste. So you use the whole can or you use most of
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no
If you
rule about that.
freeze,
There's no rule. There's no rule.
can you freeze fresh herbs without them being sort of ruined when you defrost them?
You want to freeze them in olive oil? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Honestly, I don't know.
In like ice cube trays? Didn't I see that somewhere?
I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
so,
sounds pretty good.
Mhm.
Like, what do I do? I have a compost pile and I
Yeah.
feed it all to the chickens.
yeah. Oh, chickens, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad your chickens accept that. My chickens rejected watermelon the other day, so they're princesses.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
Mine
yeah.
thinks about everything. So hopefully we give you good ideas there, Jacqueline, about what to do next week, different ways to kind of think. I want to welcome you guys to substitute different herbs, substitute different vegetables, kind of the idea is that the meals are simple. There is some sort of protein, there is some sort of fiber rich something, and there is fresh ingredients, different colors, different plants. So, if it calls for red, you can substitute green. If it calls for one type of lettuce, feel free to substitute kale or Swiss chard, like it's all okay.
Is it okay to like substitute a meal? For instance, if I've got leftovers from Monday and I can use it on Wednesday instead of doing Wednesday's meal plans. Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially if, again, you're working, so that idea of like, okay, well, I got the chickpeas, I got the crushed tomatoes. I'm going to make 2 of this. I'm going to eat it Tuesday and Wednesday. I think you're going to get the flow, and I think you're going to feel really empowered by making those choices and feeling really good about it.
Yeah, that's great.
Also, if there is a grain, and I haven't noticed many grains, maybe quinoa, there was something about the tabbouleh, but if there's multiple grains featured in the weekly meal plan and you just want to commit to making one and using that one grain for every meal, that's fine. I think that's probably a better use of your time versus stressing out over having to cook 3 different grains. And so this is just a little oversight because we didn't create the meal plan perfectly to batch cook that way, but that is something to think about.
Okay.
We gave you 2 sweet treats next week. Love this. The next one is called a coconut mug cake.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. And so this one's kind of nice because it's almond flour, coconut flour as kind of like that crusty kind of base mixed with coconut milk and a little coconut oil. Coconut, I love it. I think it is a very versatile, not inflammatory kind of fat to cook with. It can tolerate some decently high heat. Sometimes I even prefer it for like sauteing things kind of gently. How are you like it too?
Yeah. Yeah, it can take a little more heat than things like olive oil.
Yeah, you really want to be careful with olive oil. You don't, it has they call it a smoke point,
Yeah.
but
Then avocado is the top.
yeah, so avocado oil is really good to cook with. Butter, if it's kind of like that low kind of simmering thing, but I would say avocado, cook your heart out with
Yeah,
that.
hot
High
as you
heat.
want.
Coconut oil, maybe a little bit less, but can still tolerate quite a bit. And then probably butter, and then yeah, olive oil. I really only use olive oil raw. I try not to use it at all for anything cooking.
I find avocado, sorry, I like avocado oil because it's not overpowering in flavor,
Yeah,
and Costco has really good deals on it.
they do. They do. And then Jacqueline, so on the menu next week is a very simple kind of high protein bento style box where it's like 2 hard boiled, soft boiled eggs, some cucumber, a little bit of avocado, and some cheese slices. That is something that you could easily, kind of batch and just carry around with you intermittently, that again would be enough protein, I think, to satisfy all your needs and whatnot. Oh my gosh, we gave you 3 desserts. Wow. We were just
I like dessert.
I do too. I do too. We were just like, you know what, ladies? Yes. This one also chia seeds. Again, more cocoa powder, unsweetened almond milk. It's almost like a pudding. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy that. And again, 1 1/4 tablespoon of monk fruit or 1 1/4 tablespoon of honey. It's really minuscule amount of honey. If you guys don't dump with it and are fine. Awesome. Well, there's a bunch of good recipes coming up, and hopefully you now both feel empowered to.
I feel so much better after talking to you today because I was feeling a little bit unsure of what to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we're here.
And Cindy, you've got a fabulous week in front of you.
I know. I'm excited. Now I need the relaxation. It's time. I've got bees all around me. I need you here.
They just want to be friends.
One is sitting on my computer as we speak, right here on my screen.
Oh no.
You think he hears you? I don't know what kind this is. It's kind of large, so it's probably not a normal bee, but yeah. So it's time to relax, but it's going to be quite interesting, and I'm up for it. My husband said, "You sure picked the perfect time to start this." I said, "Look, I had one goal, and that was to fix my gut." So I didn't think about our vacation. It wasn't even on my mind at the time.
Yeah.
Much needed as well. So both of them together, it's going to be a good week.
Yeah. A retreat of sorts.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. With
Wonderful.
nothing but nature, because you don't hear anything out here. This is completely quiet.
Nice.
So it's good.
Good.
Well, it'll be good. I think the a lot of questions answered, because as y'all are talking about the vegetarian, it's things that I had inquired about as I was walking around looking. Like I got tofu already for Monday. I didn't know what I was getting. I don't even know how to cook it. I was going to research it, but I had not done that yet. So thanks for talking about that.
Just make sure all the water is squeezed out.
Yeah.
That is the huge thing with tofu.
Okay.
I use a cast iron pan, so I'll put it on a cutting board because I don't have a tofu press. My heaviest cast iron pan, I'll put that on top, and then I'll just put like a towel underneath, and just really squeeze it out.
Yeah, sometimes I'll even, as I'm cutting it up to like cube it, and I'll cut it into slices, I'll lie the slices over, and then I'll press them again to get
Okay.
even more water out.
All right.
And then
Thanks.
a little cornstarch dusting.
Yeah, dust with cornstarch.
And they are so crispy and so delicious.
Okay. It's going to be new, but there's been a lot of new things, so I'm excited.
Great. Well, I think that wraps it up, huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
Lovely.
thank you.
Yeah, well, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much for participating in the Facebook group. It's fun. We got a new kind of client in there, and you got some old ones that are just willing to
Yep.
pop in and share advice all the time. So no questions too big or small. In fact, try to direct all your dietary questions to that group. It's lovely to
Okay.
see people really jump in with their own insight and practices and what works for them. It's really
Okay.
lovely to
Yeah.
have that open conversation about that stuff.
Yeah, because then not only us can pop in and answer those questions, but all of those other people who have their own things they try. It's just you get a lot more.
Right. That's good. Well, somebody else has tried it always helps. Just like I asked about the tofu, I was hoping somebody was going to ask if I couldn't connect today. That was my answer. I mean, the way I was going to get it. So thanks.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great week. We'll see you
Yeah.
soon.
Bye.
Thank
All right. Thank you.
you.
Bye. Bye, Jacqueline.
Bye.